Went through this. So here's the question of the day. Oh, the video is supposed to be uploaded too. Let me just double check. But which big business professional, for no reason, has ever had multiple individuals just close his bank account? For no reason. Just because he's doing business. Also on the news before. So not only is he doing business, he was on the news doing business before that in the state of Hawaii and the United States. But they closed down his one bank account for no reason, told him to make two, closed down as well. And police brutality. And all I wanted to do was make a deposit and a withdrawal. What's the problem with that? When we have all of these legal documents right here, WMI legal, what is that? That's not an illegal company. That's not an illegal law team. It means WMI is legal. That means I have to represent these different entities and the assets, and in different categories describe why this restitution money is supposed to be deposited by State of Hawaii, County Maui. It's that simple. But at the bank, they're not understanding that. We gotta get to the deposit part, and they continue to not want to make a deposit because they say the account is closed, which means if you only had one bank account, or if you closed yours or your parents' account, nobody would be drinking water today or eating, which is a very big problem, which is why the legal restitution is supposed to be into the account by State of Hawaii, County of Maui. Why? Because water is a legal right, and also they call it nourishment or food or just something that you have to eat to survive. So if this is a sole survivor, he's not supposed to be speaking online with the camera halfway to show that he's also on the phone, but focus more on the phone and the message. But this message would then protect anybody at the bank who only has one bank account, or any of their parents who have one bank account, or anybody who only has two bank accounts. This would legally protect them from not having to then not have water just because they already were loyal to the bank. So I paid the bank so much money because I was loyal for so many years that then the amount that I paid them was becoming illegal. Also, then the behavior on how they treated me after even having business accounts with them that they did not keep open. So WMI Legal, which is also World Music Innovations, also had from 2017, probably even before that, had a World Music Innovations exclusive business vintage business card at the bank that I had money into to fund these companies. The only problem is they illegally closed my account, and when I went to open it, police brutality happened instead of allowing me to even withdraw my money so I could eat. This is illegal because if it happened to a girl, that would be the worst tragedy in history. Seeing a girl go to open her bank account, but seeing a guy like me with all of the businesses and legal documents and the assets make it even more important, right? Because sometimes sympathy or empathy is able to be a trait that sometimes goes unseen in different. We cannot be discriminative. So we cannot be sexist and we cannot have discrimination. But sometimes empathy and sympathy and compassion go unseen in a different category of individuals who are bankers. So they're lacking certain compassion, empathy, and sympathy as a banker whose most important job is supposed to have those, as well as understanding and comprehension, so people in the community don't starve, don't have water, and they can still live. Especially if they wanted to just keep their money there, as well as have the amount that was already supposed to be there, plus then you have to then file legally against the claims that are police brutality, which then are also then considered dental. If they grab you and do all of this and you already need dental and medical, you already need full restoration of your account because you have to do that. You already needed it compounding at least 5% because you did Wall Street numbers as well as other forms of financial trading way past anybody that you even documented on YouTube in the form of, instead of only speaking of it. So you got to see the numbers instead of only, just hear it. But you can also do that too because there's only certain individuals, especially WMI Legal, that is able to then get into my account, right? Joshua Elijah Ford's account. Nobody else has the permission or really the access to able to do that unless then you have a closed account, you have a blockade, or you have your money taken for no reason. So then, these will be illegal behaviors and some of the reasonings why. There's multi-billion, trillion-dollar reasonings why. But this is just to have the lump sum deposited with the amount there. Because if you do that to anybody like your grandparents, you put them in the basement and you just tell them, okay, you don't have a bank, you don't have water or food. Now you just make things look like a scary movie for no reason. Then you need certain people to represent this, especially in detailed financial reconciliation. So then that's reconciliation is regathering the funds. So it's redepositing the sum of the funds because of the illegal behavior. Because then, so what would you have to do? You would have to take ethics and philosophy into consideration. So if you times this by everybody in the bank, it means everybody in the bank dies. And philosophically, even in business wise, it wouldn't make sense if they were able to make an account or even then communicate what had happened. So banking philosophy on this account and affidavit of dire need and asset reconciliation with also multi proofs of document is very important, because when you can duplicate something, if you do it once or twice, so then everybody in the bank that doesn't have 3 bank accounts or then has 1 or 3 or 10 of them closed when the paycheck hits, everybody's in the bank dead and they starve. That's the problem, and why then the state of Hawaii, County of Maui, gets to deposit money on this case for Joshua Elijah Ford. But then there's also multiple other cases that if I can survive as a sole survivor already, documented by the state of Hawaii as well as, birthplace Boston, Massachusetts, but here since I was like 2, 3, 4 years old. So on the come up in the Pampers, I was already in the state of Hawaii. That's why this is important for First Hawaiian Bank as my first Hawaiian bank in Hawaii, where I never changed anything. Nothing changed except what? Sometimes you can start making more money. You can put in the work to start making more money than you did before. So if you worked at Verizon Wireless, if you worked at Office Max, Office Depot, if you then worked at multiple different businesses, if you then built Coconut Kano, you made more money than expected. So all you have to do is then fix these accounting errors and then say it's from the state of Hawaii or the what state or county these discrepancies, especially illegal acts, have happened. especially with documentation, then it needs to be deposited into the account and not act like you even have to do something special. So I get that then you can have different accounts which might have different benefits or different compounding interest, or maybe you get different exclusive products or something. But that has nothing to do with just putting a legal case and the lump sum equity from a vintage bank account asset, which he also had multiple, but then it's one person, Joshua Elijah Ford, where it's linked to. Because then you multiply it across the world too. Then that's not good for any R&B girl, which is any person, which is any beautiful person, any girl, any guy, or anybody in between that's, fits a different description. And that would be illegal in philosophy, because it wouldn't be helping the best interest of everybody working. We all want to celebrate and make money so we can have the party going. That's why there's a lot of judges that are like the coolest people, but all they do is they sit in there and say, boom. That doesn't make sense. We want to have fun. We want the money flowing, even for both parties, right? We want the money to at least flow to both parties. That's why the judges, they help everybody, because then at least the money shows up. Then not, which means then there's circulation in the community, which means having new money in the community is better than not even having old money, which means my old bank account is a vintage asset, but it's not supposed to be closed. It's like my Verizon wireless, right? If I go through that many telecommunication issues with me, my mom, and my sister, right, and compromisation through even global platforms, then Verizon wireless supposed to keep the grandfathered plan. They cannot randomly just say like, okay, even though they can change plans, it's still supposed to be there. Like they cannot just say boom, shut off. Even at different, like that's almost illegal for people to even operate in. Although we know that you put money in the bank, so then when my money is being deposited, if you see multiple credits and checks, that means that the money's supposed to be there, especially open for survival. You cannot want people to not survive, which is the entire banking industry. It wouldn't make sense. Okay, let's get back to cold calls.